there we are. Red lights on. That means it's the Baco Motorsports Power Hour. I'm Mike Griffith, a longtime Bakersfield, California Motorsports rider. This is our fourth year of doing this show. Started this, so well over 100 episodes, probably pushing toward 130, 140 episodes. This is the first segment. We talk about a lot of national stuff and a variety of news. And I've got Scott Schweitzer from Bakersfield Speedway in with me.
Good morning.
Good morning. It is morning. How you doing?
Good. I'm going to be up front right out of the gate. I didn't watch much racing this weekend, so I don't know how much help I'll be.
Well, I didn't watch a lot of racing either. There was the All-Star race, and we were both at Bakersfield Speedway.
Oh, yeah.
So we have an excuse.
All right.
We
So
were working.
We're on the same plane.
So we did not
good.
see it, and I
Okay.
did not record it because it's an All-Star race, and I don't really care that much about All-Star events, whether they be baseball, football, basketball, or racing.
Really?
Yeah,
I watched some
the
All-Stars.
racing may be okay.
Yeah.
Because they're racing for $2 million, but of the NFL game,
Never.
really never.
Yeah.
Basketball doesn't, and hockey not really that much because they're exhibitions, and I think it's a good honor to be an all-star.
Right.
But I think the guys would just as soon have the
I just
time
watched
off.
The home run derby is the only thing I watched.
Yeah, see.
That competition there, and that's it.
Yeah, so there you go. So much for the all-star
Yeah.
races.
Okay.
Got the American flag because we like America, and there's a little action from the Speedway, one of our slides that we rotate through here. And Fast Trip, be part of the team. Fast Trip team and the all-area team sponsored by Fast Trip. They're going to sponsor it for the third straight season. Basically, last year I think we had 60 drivers/riders on the
cool.
team. Encompass locals, whether they be racing here or we got a lot of motocross riders out there on the national circuit, young guys that are really good, and they're on the team. Basically, 3 wins on an oval course because those guys generally run a little more than the drag racers. 2 wins at a drag strip, and if a major win, or maybe I just want you on the team because you're a good guy
There you go.
or a good girl.
Fan pick.
Fan pick, yeah. So we're going to do that again, and that'll run sometime in December. Not sure when, but we're going to do that with mug shots and a little list of their accomplishments. I think it's and a recap. We generally do a recap of the racetracks and what happened during the season. So
Cool.
got that coming up. Speaking of all-star races, they had one at Charlotte
There it is.
last Saturday. Had the all-star race, $2 million to win. Interesting format. So you've got different segments and this and that, and you qualify earlier, like the day before, by doing hot pit stops. And the old way of doing pit stops.
I did see that during track prep. I'd run up to the office and see how they had to come in, make a quick pit stop, and
Yeah.
the guys probably liked that because there was no
And amazingly, if you watch that, you're going into the pits as fast as you can and exiting, and no speed limits. And that used to be the rule in NASCAR
crazy.
until people started getting hurt/killed.
Right.
And then we came out with pit stops. But it was wild. Could you imagine 30 cars coming in as fast as they could go?
Yeah, and these guys
These days-
during that qualifying, they were able to pull in real early and slow down. Back then, they had to zip in, so it probably made it pretty difficult.
Yeah, it's wild days, as I recall. Mr. Busch, Kyle Busch, wins the $2 million. He's a happy camper there in Victory Lane. So there you go. Can't talk much about it because I didn't see it. Kevin Harvick, he finished 6th. He ran higher in the segments. I saw a little stuff on that. He won a segment, finished second in another segment, I think, but it didn't really mean anything. You just get to that race, and he started toward the rear of the field probably because he won and finished 6th. So no $2 million for Mr. Harvick.
I'm sure he'll get it somewhere else.
Yeah, probably somewhere else. Point standings, they have not changed since a couple weeks ago because guess what? It was an all-star race. Kyle Larson, young kid up on top. Martin Truex Jr. looking strong. Brad Keselowski, Chase Elliott, and Jamie McMurray. Steve Hughes wasn't here. Thinks Jamie McMurray is going to be in the title hunt for the chase. I think he's liable to be there, but I don't think he's going to be around long. I just, a lot plays out. There's a lot of season left, so you never know. But the little parentheses are the bonus points you get that for winning segments and winning races, and those carry over to add onto the points when you start the chase. So if you can get 30, 40 points ahead of a couple chase guys, that's huge.
Yeah. It'll be interesting now. Like I said, I agree with NASCAR. The way they did this points deal made it interesting, and now that they've added these segment races, so keeps adding to it. Could be interesting.
Yeah. So wins are going to pay off. If to say that wins aren't worth anything is not the truth anymore. If you got 4 wins, that's 20 bonus points.
Right.
That's,
Yeah, they
that's,
definitely
that's
made
a
it.
lot of positions on a racetrack.
As just a fan watching NASCAR now, you can see the difference the way these guys are hustling and racing hard and not just sitting back because they do want those segment point
They
wins.
certainly do race for the segments, that's for sure. So then we got the Xfinity Series. They had last weekend off too. They roll into action on Saturday at Charlotte. Elliott Sadler leads the way there with Justin Allgaier, William Byron, Darrell Wallace Jr., Daniel Hemmick, and I think Big Show's Mark Reed has dropped to 60. Had a bad outing in the last race, but he's got a win. He's got 5 bonus points. And if you look at these bonus points, not very many. He's got 5 bonus points. As the bonus points for the chase, he's number 2 on the list.
Yeah.
Because he's got a win. Not very many wins for the Xfinity drivers because guess what? The Cup drivers run too.
Yeah.
And
They're gonna have to do something there.
Yeah, well, you want to draw fans.
That's true.
But they are talking about that a little more. And interesting stages, we'll stay on NASCAR for a second. They just released their new schedule for 2018. Changes coming up on that. The Indy race, the Brickyard, will be the last race of the summer, I think September 9th, something like that. The last race, the 26th of the season before they go into their chase. Vegas is going to start the chase, I think. So Vegas is second race, and the Charlotte race at Charlotte will be on the Roval.
Yeah,
the
I've seen
new
that.
road course.
Seen
They've
that on
had a road
Twitter.
course
Yeah,
there, so
they showed the way it's going to have some rights and lefts. So
yeah, it's going to
be
encompass
interesting.
most of the 1.5 mile Charlotte Oval, but then you can go through the infield too. So I think it's smart. You got to, I think to be a true championship, put some sort of road course
Right. Give
onto
them
it. I
some
mean,
more
Talladega's on it, and that's a crapshoot. That's like rolling the dice.
Right.
So put a road course on there. At least you're in charge of your own fate on a road course. We're in Talladega. You're along for the ride lots of times. So anyway, that's what's happening there. And the Coca-Cola 600, I think that's a 3 p.m. start East Coast time. NASCAR's longest race of the year. Not their biggest because obviously that's the Daytona 500. But that ends up a big day of racing there. And we've got the slide up here. This doesn't even start the racing. This is the second on the racing format. This is Scott Dixon celebrating his pole-winning run last weekend at the Indianapolis 500 there with his daughter. And then the day starts with an F1 race, the Grand Prix of Monaco. You got to wake up early, though, unless you put that on 4:30 a.m.
Real early.
So you know what? Hit the record button.
Yep, that's what they make them for, right?
So it's a big weekend of racing. Nationally and internationally. I think the biggest weekend for motorsports fans just on that Sunday where you have, and they're lined up that way for a reason, where you can watch the Monaco Grand Prix,
Right.
the Indianapolis 500, which starts at 9:19. This is the green flag, so 9 a.m. You don't have to tune in at 8 o'clock. That's all pre-race stuff, although you do want to tune in a little earlier and get back home again in Indiana, although it's not the same without Jim Neighbors singing it. And 9:19 green flag there, and I'm sure the green flag for Charlotte is a little after 3. But, I mean, we can do breakfast, we can do brunch, and we can barbecue.
Absolutely, catch all three. Is there anybody trying to do the double with the Indy 500?
No, nobody doing the double. That's a tough deal to do anymore. I mean,
but it was always interesting to keep a tab
Interesting.
on it when somebody attempted it. But yeah,
because that's hydrating on the plane via IVs on the way back and stuff. So yeah, no double this year and maybe next year. But it looks like the Hondas have the edge in speed at Indy. That'll be with I think 6 of the top 9 qualifiers are all Honda powered. Ed Carpenter, number 2, was the quickest Chevy. So it'll be interesting to see what plays out in the race. Do the Chevys get a little better gas mileage or fuel mileage? I shouldn't say gas. Fuel mileage. And if you could eke just one more lap out of a green flag run, that could win you an Indy 500. It's been done before.
it comes down to just that.
It could come down to fuel mileage.
Absolutely.
And they have lately had one race to watch. Let's throw out the F1 race because Coke 600 or Indy 500, you can only watch one. Which one do you watch on Sunday?
Man, I used to love the Indy 500. I used to love getting up and with the family and listening to it on the radio because But that's when you seen the American racers and the Unsers and the Andrettis, the names we were synonymous with. So now 3/4, of the field, I don't even know who those racers are. I don't know where they're from. So I'm probably going to be a Coke 600 guy.
I'm still partial to the Indy 500. I remember watching it. This dates me. Of course, looking at me dates me. But I got tickets. They used to show a closed circuit at the Civic Auditorium, Rabobank Theater now. And you go there, and they had the big screen TVs on closed circuit TV in black and white. And I'll never forget watching a race there with Lloyd Ruby winning. And it comes in for the fuel stop and didn't get the hose out and rips out stuff. And you see the gas spewing out. But that goes back into the 60s. I used to watch that race. And I think we were blessed, and Bakersfield got spoiled for a lot of years with, obviously, George Snyder, who qualified on the front row one of his years. Then he raced a lot for A.J. Foyt, solid qualifier, always getting the car into the field. Then you had Rick Mears come along, obviously went on to win 4 of them. Roger Mears was in a couple of them. The first one he qualified for, he never even made it to the green flag because there's a wreck up front. He was farther back in the pack. He got ran over from behind, and so not even a did not start in the first one he ever qualified for. So a lot of memories from back when covering the Indy 500 back in the day. And Scott Atchison was tried to qualify a couple times.
He had a couple of shots at it.
A couple shots and never qualified. But there were a couple of years where Bakersfield had 3 drivers in the starting 33 of the Indianapolis 500, and that's quite a feat.
Yeah, that's huge for us.
That's huge. So anyway, I'm still kind of partial to the Indy 500 car, probably because I was back there, spent the month of May back there. My daughter, who just turned 26 on May 10th, she was born 1991 while I was at the Indianapolis 500. I was there had just left 2 days earlier, and we knew she was due right about when I was supposed to get back, and she was early. And so that Friday, I remember Rick Mears hit the wall in practice, got a call that she was born. Then Rick Mears went on the next day and won the pole and went on and won the race that year. So
great memories.
So anyway, memories of the Indy 500. We're going to be back in a minute and talk with Scott Schweitzer about what's happening at Bakersfield Speedway and what happened last weekend. A lot of fun out there.